If he was making like 45,000 a year, would you date him?
You wouldn't be
But
able to afford my engagement ring.
how much is that?
About $200,000.
If he was making like, let's say he just started his own business, but he makes 45,000 a year, would you date him?
You wouldn't be able to afford my engagement ring.
So I have to give you some background on this one. Basically, you've got Pearl here, who runs a YouTube channel which is growing big, and her YouTube channel name is Pearly Things. And what she did is she interviewed this black lady. The black lady she's an average looking woman. I think she's also overweight. And she was asked, look, would you date a man who earns $45,000 a year, which is basically sort of an average wage? And she said absolutely no way, because her engagement ring alone cost a lot.
I don't know anything about rings. How much is that?
About $200,000.
And there you have it, folks. She wants an engagement ring to the value of $200,000. Now, on its own, this video is not a problem, because sometimes you get some women out there who have ridiculously unrealistic, delusional high standards. And we now have another video which I found of the same woman a year on, and she's still overweight, single, can't find a man, can't keep a man. She still believes though that she can still attain a man who is super rich, who could buy her that $200,000 engagement ring. But guys, it's important to understand that a lot of women of all races are thinking in this way. They think that they can bring nothing of value to a man, and despite being essentially rejected by so many men, they still think that they can attain that top tier man, but they can't. But anyway, on to the next video.
Just depending on lifestyle and family, at least 3 to 4 bedrooms for sure, 2 full baths, because God forbid there's more than one girl in the house, that'll be drama. And definitely like a big backyard, so at least 5 acres, you know, to roam on is what I aspire to have, and then 4,000 to 5,000 square feet, maybe. Okay.
So here we have a lady who I believe claims to be 23 years old. She looks over 30 to me, and she says that in an ideal world she wants to marry a husband who will provide her with a very large house, 5,000 square feet in size, multiple bathrooms, I think 3 or 4 bedrooms, and a 5-acre backyard. For comparison, I live in England and I own properties in England. I buy them, let them out. And the biggest property I own is 1,000 square feet. Now, to give you an idea, is that whenever I have tradesmen who come to fix various parts of the property, they all tell me this is a big property. They always use that word, this is a big property. But that 1,000 square foot property that I own, it wouldn't be big enough for her. She wants 5 times that. Not only that, but she wants a 5-acre backyard. That is considerable land. Very few people have ever lived in a property which is 5,000 square feet in size with 5 acres of backyard space. Very few. Probably 1% of people have lived in that kind of property. But that is what these women think is normal. For young men watching this, I want you to be aware that this is what women in 2022, now going to 2023, are looking for. And if you think that this is an isolated case, I will ask you to continue watching this video, because I'm going to keep showing you more videos of women who think this is quite normal. In the previous video we saw $200,000 engagement ring. Virtually no one on this planet has that kind of engagement ring. But this is the standard that women think is normal. But keep watching, guys. I'm going to show you the next interview now.
What is your minimum that you would consider?
So the minimum would probably be about 100.
And before you start thinking that only young females are suffering from this delusion, here we have a woman who is over 50. In terms of the looks department, she scores low marks. In terms of her body, because I've seen the whole interview, in terms of her body, she scores very low marks. She doesn't really offer much to a man, but she is demanding that her man earn a minimum of $100,000 a year. And if you listen to the full interview, she feels that even at $100,000, she'll be settling for someone who is below her. So I want you guys to actually understand what's going on here. Here we've got a below average, well below average woman in the dating market, and she's demanding a man earn at least $100,000 a year. Minimum, bare minimum. Anyway, let's go on to the next interview.
The guy that I moved out here with, I made the money. He didn't even do anything. We were here for his boxing.
So you supported him?
I supported
She was
him,
the
yeah.
sugar mama.
Yeah. Because like I was already making money.
Right.
I was already like pretty much set.
Did it have an effect on you where you lost a little bit of respect for him as a man because he wasn't making money?
100%.
And here we have a young lady who was out earning her man. They weren't married, but I think they were living together, and she just lost respect for him. She broke up with him. Young men who want to get married or want to build a relationship with a woman, I want you to understand how important income is to modern women. It's a deal breaker. If you don't earn enough money, they will either not start the relationship with you or they will break the relationship with you. If there comes a point in the relationship where her salary increases above yours, that could be a problem. I've watched enough of these interviews to understand this. On to the next clip. Now for this video, I want you to listen out for the amount of money that she wants her man to make on a yearly basis.
So how much is a man going to need to make then for your submission?
At least 7 figures. In a Miami lifestyle.
7 figures.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this woman here. She's in her late 20s. I think she's 29. I'm not 100% sure. She's not bad looking, but nothing out of the ordinary, nothing special. She's not giving any special vibes that she's a top 1% woman or anything like that. But she wants a man who's earning at least $1 million a year. That would put him in the top 0.0000001% of men. Not only that, but my guess is that she wants the man to be tall, dark and handsome, etc, etc. This is what we're dealing with. But guys, I want you to remember, note this down, that this woman here thinks nothing of a man earning $1 million a year. That's absolute bare minimum for her. Bare minimum. $1 million a year. On to the next video. Now earlier we saw a clip of this woman who is 23 going on 33, and she said that she wants her man to provide her with a huge house, and that huge house is just nothing special. Now we're going to find out what car her man should drive. Have a listen.
Okay, and what about a car? I know you like cars.
Yeah, if it could be anything, it'd probably be a Pagani BC, which is like a hypercar.
Okay, Pagani BC. I'd never heard of this car before, so what I did was I did a Google search to see what came up of it, and this is what it looks like, and the price is £2.1 million. In terms of dollars, I think you're probably looking at around $2.5 million, somewhere around there. But you can now see that the level of delusion is really ramping up. Previously we had that lady who was demanding a $1 million per year man. Now we've got this lady who's demanding that the man have a car worth $2.5 million or £2.1 million. But nevertheless, these are what the standards are dictating in 2023 now. We're in 2023. Anyway, let's roll on to the next clip. This was a lady who was interviewed by Kevin Samuels. She was demanding a top quality man, a top tier man. But before we get started, I want you to look at her chest tattoo. I want you to look at her body, which is overweight. I want you to look at her facial features. You be the judge. And then just think to yourself, does this woman qualify for a top tier man who's earning a lot of money? Oh, and I forgot the best part. The best part is that she's currently got 2 kids. I think she's in her late 30s or around 40. And she left her husband because she thought she could do better. So now that she's single and she's got rid of her husband, she's called up Kevin Samuels to ask him for advice on how to get a top quality, high value man who earns a lot of money. This is her asking that question, and Kevin Samuels answers her question quite succinctly.
Okay, so if I wanted a high value man, what do I do?
Be reincarnated.
And there you have it, folks. That is what Kevin Samuels advised. In summarizing this particular clip, you've got an overweight woman, probably obese, with 2 kids, no father. She doesn't earn much. She doesn't really have much to offer a man. And yet she is demanding an absolutely top quality man, tall, dark and handsome, with money, etc, etc, etc. Yet another delusional woman. Now, I want to keep hammering home the point. This is not an isolated case. This is becoming the norm. I want people to understand this. Every single interview that I see of a woman follows this same pattern, where she is average or below average, and she is demanding someone in the top 5, top 1, or even in the top 0.0001%. So, gentlemen, if you're watching this, just bear that in mind, because I'm going to summarize this very soon at the end of the video. And before we go into our final clip, to give you some background, this lady is a single mother, and she was asked the question, how much should your husband earn?
Ideally, my husband needs to be making like $650,000.
Yep, you heard that right. She expects a man to come along who's earning $650,000 a year, which would put him in the top 0.001% of men. And he should take a woman who is in her 30s, has a kid from another man, so he's going to have to be a stepfather. And she brings very little to the table. I can see her face is average, her body is average, nothing special about this woman, yet she wants an absolutely top tier man. Now, this is the delusion that is pervading pretty much all women, certainly most of the women who are living in the West. So we're talking UK, USA, Australia, Europe, and places like that. Although, to be fair, a lot of the developed world is now suffering from these issues, mainly because of social media. Now, gentlemen, I need you to take this under advice. Never, ever marry a single mother. It just isn't worth the hassle. The odds of it going wrong are way greater than of it going right. If you're a man of means, if you're in decent shape, if you're decent looking, well groomed, and you have a good job or a good income, business, etc. If you are one of those people, especially if you're a 650k man, stay away from single mothers. You don't need them. You can go for a single woman under the age of 30 with no kids, and she'll appreciate you. So there you have it, folks. That's part 1 of this video. The first part that we've just covered is a bunch of women who have basically said very clearly what they expect in men, their standards, and more particularly we were focusing on the money part because this is a financial channel. But you were able to hear with your own ears what women are expecting. Now, most men know that these standards are completely delusional. However, these are the standards that women expect. Now, in part 2 of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how to combat this issue, how to improve yourself to a point where you're at least meeting them halfway. And to be honest, you don't need to earn $1 million or £1 million a year. That's kind of ridiculous. There's very few people who can do that. But at least if you can get to a certain level, then you're at least putting yourself in the window, so to speak. So anyway, listen, I'm going to end it there. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are told when part 2 of this video is up. The next video is going to be part 2 of this video, so subscribe, like, and I shall see you next time.